Hello, welcome to the Federal. We are in conversation with Vandana Vasudevan, the author of OTP Please. This is a book on online buyers, sellers, and gig workers and about the gig economy in South Asia. This subject has been in the news a lot recently. This is mainly because on New Year's Eve, gig workers went on a major strike demanding better conditions, better pay, and also of late, we've been hearing of accidents involving gig workers, raising questions about the conditions in which they work. We have Vandana here talking to us about this world of e commerce ruled by algorithms and OTPs. Hello, Vandana. Can we talk about your book now? So, first off, what is the central argument of your book and the focus of your book?
The focus of my book is online buyers, sellers, and gig workers in India and neighboring countries. So it takes a look at how the digital economy and e commerce have grown, especially since the pandemic. And it is based on hundreds of interviews with workers, then people like us who are consumers of who use apps and buy different services, whether it is transport or through Amazon or food delivery. And it also talks to a lot of sellers and small eateries who are the suppliers of these goods and services. So it is a sort of 360-degree view of the gig economy, and it also looks at various sectors. So there's Uber, Ola, and that kind of transport sector. There is package delivery, which is Amazon. There's food delivery, Zomato, Swiggy, and there's quick commerce, Blinkit, Zepto, and there is urban company kind of home services. So all these sectors across all these countries and the actors of this setting, which is the people who buy, the people who deliver, and the people who sell, all held together by the tech platform. And it examines how the extensive use of these apps, what is it doing to the way we live, eat, work, travel,
Travel.
etc., and how it is changing us as people and how it is changing our society.
Okay. What were the challenges that you faced while navigating this space? Since the nature of the job of gig workers is temporary, and also the warehouses like dark stores like
Stores.
warehouses. So, how what are your challenges while researching on this particular space, which is evolving all the time as well?
Yeah, so that's the whole point. So when I thought I had finished and I had, traveled to about 27 cities, some of it I have traveled, some of it I got the information from. Like Pakistan and Bangladesh, I could not obviously travel, but I procured the information through interviews and stuff. So I had done all that, and I was also I was the author of a report of a huge survey of 5,500 gig workers in India, and that happened in 2024. So I had authored all that. I'd got all this information, and when I thought I was, done and I had submitted my manuscript, something new would develop because this is such an evolving sector, and thank God I've not done it now, because now, in the past month, it's been there's so many things have changed in terms of policy and everything. But even at that time, something or the other was constantly developing. So I had to keep telling my editor to please wait, I have to add this, I have to add this, and they were quite tired of me. So that was quite a challenge to incorporate what is a dynamic subject, to cover everything in that. And also within the, not just this, also the political situations in neighboring countries. So when I started, the Bangladesh was, all this upheaval that's happened was not there. So I had spoken to a couple of consumers, some workers who were working for a platform that only hires female gig workers.
Oh,
So and it was very radical, and there was these in what, and at that time Bangladesh was, there was nothing, there was a Sheikh Hasina government, and it was just a, business as usual scenario. And suddenly the whole upheaval happened, and now it's becoming sort of ultra radical, the whole climate. And it got me wondering whether those girls I had spoken to, who were actually riding motorbikes and delivering things to people, just a all women workforce. So
wow.
it left me thinking that, what's going to happen to them as, greater Islamization of the society and more conservative. Will those stories hold true in the future? So it's not just the gig work environment, it's also political things were also changing in some places. So the society itself was undergoing change. That those were the challenges in sort of writing the book.
And also, like, how would you get to interview the employees working in these dark stores or warehouses, or even how
So
would you find them?
yeah. So some of it was due to, because like I said, I partnered with an worker rights NGO in Delhi to write their report of, and to design the research, design the survey of gig workers. It is the
Oh,
largest survey of gig workers till date in India. It covered 5,500 people across the country, big cities, small cities, etc. The NGO is called Jan Pahel, and the report is available on their website.
okay.
JANPAHAL, Jan Pahel. So through them, I got to know about the warehouse conditions, because there were a couple of girls who were actually working there at that time, and who were sort of, very agitated about the kind of the oppressive environment there, and they were bringing back all these stories. So one of those girls is, sent me the videos of the place, and she was doing it quietly. It was almost like a sting operation. And
Oh my God.
she was sending me and she was telling me, what happens daily. And that's how I got a real view of it. There were two, three
Yeah.
girls like that. And
But we have no idea how these
the
warehouses operate. Yeah.
we have no idea. We have no idea. So unless somebody really does this kind of thing, where they go in and actually get employed and then come back and tell you the stories, you have no idea. And then the dark store is, I think there've been a couple of reports on it previously, but more importantly, I found this guy on Twitter in from Bombay, who was a dark store manager, and he
Yes.
had just quit because he was unhappy. And his story is there in the book of why he quit and what are the pressures he was facing. So he gave me a lot of description about the dark store in that he was working in.
I see. Okay. So I'd just like to ask you about the government banning this 10-minute deliveries. What is your view on that? Is it implementable? Because as I was telling you earlier, in this morning when I booked on Swiggy, Instamart, I got a 6-minute promise actually. So,
Yeah, after you said that,
yeah.
somebody in the house ordered Blinkit, and since we're used to it coming, in a jiffy, we kept thinking, why hasn't he come? Why hasn't he come? And Blinkit app said it'll take 22 minutes.
Oh, I see.
So,
Okay.
I mean, there's also that experience. So, I think in the early days, this may be a problem of whether the platforms are adhering to that rule. But I think the government will and should evolve some sort of system which reports how many, what was the time taken for different deliveries, and sort of, so that people know that how many are being delivered under 10 minutes and how many are delivered over 10 minutes. I think that kind of information should be made public, because or at least if somebody in authority in the government demands it, that should be provided. One of the biggest problems that people have had with tech platforms is that they're tech platforms, so they have tons of data. They have all the data, they're monitoring everything all the time, but they are
Yes.
very, very unwilling to share. And it also cannot be mandated because their platforms and their investors have been saying don't over-regulate, don't breathe down their neck, and don't keep on allow the business to grow, kind of thing.
Yes.
So it's a bit of a sticky situation where
Yes.
worker rights and the and the ease of business is currently clashing. So the government needs to come up with a mechanism by which they can implement this. But I also think that on the other hand, it could be self-regulatory also, because there's been a lot of noise about this, a lot of
Yes.
awareness. More and more workers are aware that of their rights, of the policies, of what's happening, etc. So I don't think on a large scale it can be violated anymore,
I see.
because
Okay.
I think a lot of workers are aware now, and a lot
But
of consumers are aware, workers are aware.
gig workers protested, they went on strike. So there was a demand for better working conditions, social security, insurance, etc. Why do you think gig workers are angry? What were the stories they had to tell you?
So the biggest is income. They when platforms started out, there were fewer gig workers, but as more and more of them have come in, the number of their individual earnings has dropped. And also that so income is one of the biggest things. Also, when fuel prices and all increased, as happened a couple of years ago, they are
Yeah.
not compensated. And they find that the platforms are increasing their commissions, have been increasing their commissions over the years, so the net take home of the gig worker keeps falling. All of these reasons fuel, then more and more there's a glut in the market of workers. There are too many workers. And the money has not kept up with the inflation. So, and the last thing is that there's no transparency, in the sense that sometimes they don't know why certain amount was cut from their in from their receipt. When they see the receipt, they don't understand why a certain amount was cut, and there's nobody to really explain it to them. So all of that over time, it's not just one thing, it's over time. Things have built up. It's also a very difficult job. There's no office, there's no peer group to exchange notes with, they're just alone roaming around. So that itself causes quite a bit of mental anxiety. And there's no security really. I mean, it's just a job that you log into and you log off, and you don't know how long you can be there, and there's no career growth. All of those things have made them unhappy.
Yeah. In your book, you refer to all of this, and
Yeah,
it's
in
there
great
about
detail with, yeah.
their
They
experiences and their frustration and lack
yeah, yeah.
of support from the from their own
Yeah, although a lot of
bosses.
them were happy also, because it has given them some sort of easy entry into a livelihood. I mean, there are no
Yeah.
interviews, there are no, there's no selection process, there's no entrance exam. So it's an easy way to start and get some money. They've been happy. I think the maximum unhappiness comes from people who have just been there for years doing the same thing, like 3 years or something like that, and working for like 12 to 14 hours a day with no end in sight, no growth in sight, and the income's falling. So I think all that builds has built a lot of frustration.
And as you said in your book, in India, gig doesn't mean for them, it's not a side hustle, but it's more often a job, a full time job.
Yeah, yeah. It's more
Uh,
often 60% of them, a new report has shown that 60% of the people treat it as a permanent job. So they're working like 12 to 14 hours. They're the primary earners of their uh, through this livelihood. And only about 30% of them have done it as a part time, which is the way it was meant to be. It was meant to
yes.
be a part time job.
Like in the
So,
US. Yeah.
like in the US. So the fact that it has not been like that has created a lot of angst.
Yeah. There's another point about tech companies of late saying that, they cannot go in for these welfare measures because the business model will get unsustainable. So what do you feel about that? About over-regulating the industry will kill the industry. So what do you feel about that, Vandana?
I'm sure, I agree that I mean, these are innovative industries. We have no precedent about how they work. So this is a new thing that has come up in the world of employment. So we definitely don't want to over-regulate and throttle the business like that. But there are the things that we are asking for. When I say we, I mean that anybody who's speaking up for the workers, the activists, the other people. Um, the things that we are asking for are not out of the purview of the tech platforms. It will not kill their business to do that. There are things like transparency, things like, having a human interface for the worker to speak to, having not doing 10-minute deliveries because that's too stressful for the worker. And these are things that will not kill the business. So it's, I mean, why will it kill the business if you just remove 10 minutes? So here the customers also have a role to play. I think they're just sitting at home and tapping their phones, and somebody in the rain and sunshine is running around bringing it to them. So I think as a society we need to be more, responsible and cognizant of what this means, what this convenience means for us. So not doing 10-minute, but if the packet comes in 15 minutes, is not going to kill quick commerce. And then being more transparent and telling the worker that, look, we cut this much from your payment yesterday because of this reason, is not going to kill quick commerce. So the thing that taking a stance that I will not do anything because it will kill the industry is not true. You can definitely do certain things which are too unfair for the other party. You know what I'm saying? But
Yes.
we are not saying, and this doesn't even involve the government. It's what should have anyway been done by the tech platform as a responsible, ethical business entity.
I see. Okay. What are some of the best practices that should be incorporated into this economy?
So I have in my research I've come across a few. So for example, there's this um, company called Daraz, which is sort of like an equivalent of Amazon in the neighboring countries.
Okay.
So what they do is they pay for fuel. They give the worker a minimum salary so that there's some fixed income that he can take back, and everything is not about just left to him to keep running. So I thought that was really really good, because and the workers are really happy. I haven't met any Daraz employee who had an issue with the company. So, and that's rare to find. But the fact that they have some fixed income and the company takes care of fuel costs like an employee, like like companies do for employees, was a big you know a saving feature for the worker. Then there is this, I think, Grab in Southeast Asia, or was it Gojek? One of them. They've created these resting places for workers,
Restrooms.
which
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, which restrooms and stuff. I think Zomato did that a little bit in Delhi. But today I was reading an article about women gig workers, the kind who work in urban company and all. And the article said about how they just, in between jobs, they're just hanging around in some park or on the pavement. And it's really sort of unpleasant for women to just sit on the pavement in Delhi, or anywhere else in India. So it's unsafe. It invites curious glances from people. They're just sitting in a public park. So at least for the companies like urban company which hire a lot of women, there should be some thought given to what are these people doing? How do they conduct their day? I mean, what are the pain points? And these can easily be addressed.
We were talking about the positive element of the gig economy, which is opening doors for women and giving them new opportunities. For example, like in your book, you talk about voice data, how they are working in to generate voice data
Yeah. So,
for giving jobs.
it definitely has opened up avenues for women. One is the visible one, which we are seeing in urban company with beauticians, the masseurs, and all coming to people's homes. That's what we see. But behind the scenes, there are also other platforms which are working, for example, in voice data, where people have to read out a little bit of text, and the app records their voice, and that collection of voices in different Indian languages has a lot of value for companies, like Amazon, like Microsoft, etc., which are trying to teach AI Indian languages so that they can, markets in tier 2, 3 towns across the country can be penetrated. So that's a sort of income generation um, for women.
Sorry to
Um,
interrupt you, Vandana. So the job is like they go in and they keep talking in different
no, no,
languages.
no,
Is
no. It's an app.
Oh,
For example, there's this app by Microsoft. It's called originally by Microsoft, but now it's called Karya. So
okay.
you download that app, and then you suppose you're a rural person in Bengal, which is the where I saw it in action.
Okay.
You are given a little bit of Bengali text to read. So you
Hmm.
read that, and the app takes your voice. Then, like that, hundreds of women in Bengali speak these, make these little voice
Mods.
notes, and
Yeah.
then all of that data, voice
Hmm.
data, it's called,
Hmm.
is taken by, say, Amazon, and they train their machine learning. They use it for machine learning. They train their systems to understand, recognize the various intonations of Bengali or Tamil or Kannada, etc. Why? Because eventually Amazon would like people to use their voice and order on their site in Bengali or in Marathi or whatever. So, for example, if I'm Tamil and I say, உங்க சைட்ல ரெட் குர்த்தா எல்லாம் என்ன இருக்குன்னு காமிங்க, so Amazon will eventually show all the red kurtas
So they
that
get
they have,
paid
and
for
then
this. So they get paid for
they get
giving
paid for
this.
this. So for
Wow.
that eventual aim, this is a input that is going in.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's a
Interesting.
very interesting thing. They get paid for it, and it's not much effort. They do it in their house, just on the
Yeah.
phone. So they're very happy about doing this. So these kind of new opportunities have opened up because of apps, and
And
yeah.
you also talked in your book about Lily Rides, this women's
Lily
only
Rides is what I told you, the
in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh people. They
Yeah.
have one really brave man has opened up a platform where he hires, yeah, girls and teaches them to ride a bike and become delivery girls. Also, they have this really interesting, there are other very interesting examples of people who go to people's houses. The girls go to houses, and they take your measurement for your salwar kameez, or whatever you want to wear,
Mm.
whatever you want to make. Then they go back, and then a tailor makes whatever the order is, and the girl comes back and gives the finished dress to the customer. So the girl is the intermediary, because it's in there. Many of the women are conservative and they can't really go to the market and all. So this girl comes, takes the measurement, takes the cloth, discusses whatever, goes back, gets it made, and delivers it.
I see.
So these are innovative things that have happened, which have opened up things for women. There are many, many such examples in the book about different apps in different countries in India. What's the negative? What's the positive? How it is changing us? How it is impacting us, etc.
Thank you so much for sharing
Thank you.
your insights. And I read the book and I've really enjoyed it. It gave me a deeper insight into what this whole gig economy is about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.